Hey everybody, it's Chris and Tony back for another Tiger Sox review for the Blue Collar Beer Gourmet.
Yes, and
Here in the Hoosier Beer collection, we're going to be reviewing the Czar Russian Imperial Stout from Tin Man Brewing out of Evansville, Indiana.
good.
This is another beer that my man Chris, Mr. Gone V6 on Instagram,
Thanks,
sent me
Chris.
from Indiana. Chris, you're awesome, man.
You are awesome.
And
This PayPal thing's really taken off.
it's a great thing. I strongly encourage you, no matter where you are, try and make a friend somewhere else in some other part of the country and do the trade back and forth. It's so much better than trying to, go out and buy from secondary sources and pay exorbitant prices, especially because a friend then goes and gets you what you like, maybe finds things you wouldn't have otherwise thought of that aren't necessarily available on sites. So, yeah, by all means, if you get an opportunity to make a beer pal in another part of the country, do it.
Yeah.
Um,
You each get to score beers.
this is a can. Big fan of cans. Big fan of canning. I am, yes, because
This is the can man.
we have proven. It has been proven time and time again that in blind taste tests, almost everybody prefers cans to bottles or even tap. So, and that's the case for soda or beer or a number of other things. We do seem to appreciate cans. It was about 10 years ago that somebody figured out how to make the liner for an aluminum can that leaves zero residue into the beer. So, those of us like Tony and I grew up in the 70s and 80s. We remember every
Yeah.
can of juice tasted like
Oh,
the
yeah.
can that you
Those
came from, especially like
metallic,
grapefruit
so
juice. Yeah,
metallic,
you
yeah.
tasted tin and everything.
Even
But,
V8, those
those
V8s.
days are over. Exactly. Yeah, those days are over, and there is a lot of going on this Tin Man Brewing Company. I mean, I'm not even going to bother to read everything that's on here, but it says, fall in line under the supreme rule of the Czar, join with your comrades over a dominant dark beer featuring warring suggestions of dark chocolate and coffee made equal by the balanced flavor of nougat hops. The Czar demands your devotion. Yeah, okay. So anyway,
Devotion to the Czar.
it is a 12%, and as an imperial,
strong
as an imperial stout, it really should be, a
Oh, for
higher
sure.
ABV. I mean, that's
If
the
it was
whole
under
point.
10, I would have been like, something's wrong.
So let's
Let's crack it open
crack
and
this bad
start
boy
smelling
open. Let's see what you smell first.
it. Already very
So
fragrant.
I don't just yet. So
Maybe
guess I'm
it's
not
the air
quite close enough.
conditioner's
Yeah,
on.
the
Our
bed is blowing
background's
just
different.
right.
We mentioned this in last week's
We
video.
did. We did.
It's 111 degrees outside, so
Yeah.
you want air conditioning too.
It's Vegas in June, so
The garage, I mean, that's, could shed a couple pounds probably. No, you cracked it open, and from once you had it about right here, here's perspective. Oh, I'm sorry.
oh wow.
Just the bouquet just like came flying out of here like a genie out of
I
the
smell
bottle.
wheat more than anything.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I do
before
too.
the
But
actual initial pour, I
I'm
smell wheat.
getting so much of that imperial. I mean, it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
lame to say, but a stout versus an imperial stout, you can almost smell the stickiness of this beer. Like it's going to be
Yes, yeah.
not I won't say syrupy, but you're in for a tongue
A
coater
chewy, yeah, exactly.
because
And
the aroma's just like, oh, hello.
if you have a friend who's good at
Good
something,
smelling beer.
have them do it. Tony is a better pourer than I, so I always have Tony do the pouring,
Say it every week.
and I stand by it.
I stand by
I
it.
stand by the fact that Tony is better at it, and I also stand by the fact that if your friend is better at something than you, swallow your pride and let your friend do it. So
Yeah, get out of the way.
get the hell out of the way.
Ordinary beer does not compute.
Ordinary beer does not compute. This is from Evansville. I don't know whether I mentioned that before, but
Evansville,
this is
Indiana.
Evansville,
Everybody.
Indiana.
Look at that
And
foam. That's giving a real like chocolate milk, cocoa.
that's even a dark head. I mean, that head is like, that is
Yeah.
not a standard dark stout head. That is like about 2 shades darker than a
It's
normal
almost like
stout head.
it's almost like someone took a scoop of oatmeal and threw it right on top there. Smells amazing. I mean, and we've discussed in previous videos that I'm not a huge stout fan like our friends Guy Medley,
This
Jimmy
one's for you,
Bourne.
Guy, and,
Yeah, Guy.
and Jimmy.
Guy I almost automatically can say Guy would dig this beer based on the bouquet. You almost get this. You know what it reminds me of is the narwhal from Sierra Nevada.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just like a night so black. I mean, you could hold this up to some serious light, and you're not going to see anything. It's just dark, 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 really dark.
And this actually has, you can't really see it that well, but this has a lot of carbonation in it. If you hold it really close,
Oh yeah,
you see lots and lots and lots of little bubbles
yeah,
making their way towards the top.
almost like a nitro kind of
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it is almost like a nitro thing. You're absolutely right.
carbonation is reminiscent of
And that head ain't going nowhere.
It's
It really isn't.
it's cool. The head on this thing is kind of beautiful actually. It's got a nice creamy
Imagine if a stout
blue
head
colored.
spent an hour in the tanning bed. That's the color of this head.
Fantastic.
Shall we?
Oh, well, shit, why not?
Cheers.
We are here to drink beer.
Indeed.
We smell it and then we drink it. The other way around. Oh man, this thing packs a punch.
It does.
Oh, it's rich.
It really is. It's
It's
yeah, it's
Russian
everything.
Imperial.
And I taste chocolate and licorice and raisins and nuts and currants and
I'm getting baking cocoa.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
quickly for me.
like a bittersweet chocolate as opposed to a milk chocolate. That's for
Right.
sure.
Right. But it's fantastic for the style. It's fantastic. If you like stouts and especially your harder imperials, I think you'll be very pleased with this beer.
Yeah, I didn't look for a can on date.
Very intense beer.
This
December
was
2015.
Yep.
I can see it from now.
Alrighty. And as a
But for a
12%
stout,
ABV, that's 6 months. That's nothing for
it's
it.
gonna hold up pretty good over 6 months. Yeah.
And as I've said before in my other videos, and I mean this, when you get a beer like this, especially a higher ABV, but you get a bomber or a pint can, if you can, share it with a friend. Always better to share a big beer with a
Yes.
friend than drink it all yourself.
6 ounces of right now is about perfect for me right now.
Yeah, Tony's been partying all weekend with the family, so
I've had a frightening amount of sunlight. These for people who are used to looking at me and seeing a ghostly pale human being. I'm very pink today.
I'm just
So,
looking
yeah,
at all the stuff. Like
partying
as we said
quite a
earlier,
bit.
there's a lot of stuff on Tin Man Brewings, and I don't know whether I think that sour that Chris sent was also from Tin Man. I could be wrong.
No, I think it is. I think
But we're definitely going to have to check out that
Do you wanna
can to
point
see
out
if
the,
there's so
seam?
much. You're absolutely yes, I do. This has a slightly imperfect. I mean, and by imperfect, I mean I can feel the seam, where you can't say on a Budweiser can. But I do believe firmly that when more brewers, more small brewers, start buying the smaller uh, seamers for cans, more brewers start going to cans, you're going to actually see this. I would really, I bet in 5 years' time, this is going to be a thing of the past. You can kind of see the glue, you can kind of feel it across your finger, you can
definitely
hear the
feel it when you
scratching
run your finger.
as I run my finger over it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it made it a trip in the mail, in the U.S. mail from
Yeah.
Indiana to Las Vegas, so it's not.
Not a faulty product.
It's not a faulty product, but I do think in years to come we're going to see the end of this, really, even for the smaller brewers.
Yeah, I would agree.
But it also kind of works because it is Tin Man Brewing, so
That's
the
kind
fact
of
that it.
that's kind of a cool
Uh-huh.
so.
And apparently, Tin Man Brewing was assembled in 2012, an alloy production brewery and restaurant committed to sustaining habitable environment for all living and mechanical beings. So they're a fairly young brewery
Yeah.
out of Evansville,
Happy
but
4-year anniversary,
yeah. We were one of the first small craft breweries in the United States to use a mash filter. So they have on there, right? I'm actually going to see if I can get it into the camera. Cans are better. And the site down here I have yet to check out, but it is cansarebetter.com. For those of us who are into the canned beer
I have a feeling you're going to visit that website today. Sometime.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Cansarebetter.com.
In fact, I would not at all be surprised if the next blog entry you see at the WordPress blog will be about cansarebetter.com and maybe some friends I've made over there.
That you like to do
exactly. Yeah.
Will be about that website.
Yeah, this is. But
Back to the beer.
this is
crazy.
yeah, and with not that as we stated with the busted knuckle last time. Neither one of us went so far as to say we disliked it, but we strongly liked this. I would say.
Yeah. This is a triumphant stout. Seriously.
Even though I mean naturally you would want to kind of take a 12% ABV beer slow anyway. This is a savoring beer, that's for sure. This is not throw one of these down and.
Yeah, we're even drinking it in a little somewhat different kind of glassware today than we normally do.
It's almost like a stein, the mason jars with the handles. So,
Chris is the kind of he is the beer gourmet after all, so you would expect nothing less than a guy to know like beer A goes in glass C or beer B goes in glass D. He lines them up. And he has the source
if you go to Beer Advocate,
right.
it is right there. So
right.
it's not a. It's not a complicated thing.
Not
It's
at all.
not.
No, no.
There's a. In fact, I've had a bookmarked, and it's something you can easily find at Beer Advocate. It'll tell you the variety and what
Mhm.
beers, what glasses go with it. Um, and that's if you have it. If you don't, then don't.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
mean, or
yeah.
get something as close as you can.
Spend
Since
your
we didn't
money
have
on.
actual steins,
Yeah,
this works just as well. It's
of
a
course.
handled beer. It's got a wide
It's
mouth. I
got a wide
mean,
mouth. I would rather spend the money on trying beer than trying glasses.
exactly.
That's just me.
You know, glasses a lot of times too. I mean, most of the glasses I have, you end up kind of acquiring over the course of
Oh
time, as
yeah.
opposed
People
to,
know I love beer. I
I
get
mean,
gifts all the time.
you know,
Most of them,
here's this. This
did
is a
some
beer that
tastings, right?
we acquired at a tap takeover at Aces and Ales, you know,
Right,
for
right.
Stone. So
Yep. And then just gifts. You know,
gifts and yeah,
there's a lot of them that'll never make it onto this video just because of what they are. Like I've got a really cool stone porcelain mug, Sierra Nevada. The list goes on. I don't want to bore you, but yeah, I mean, I think my favorite glass, excuse me, to use for any style of beer is the Sam Adams when they first originated the
yes, yeah, the one with the little nudge on the edge,
on the
for,
edge of
specifically
the
because you
glass.
could
Yeah,
smell the.
sorry, frog in my throat. But yeah, it's very it's designed for the initial pour and the aroma. So and
Mhm.
then you just get more of a bouquet off of it. So I will use that glass a lot, from as light as a pale ale to as heavy as this boy here, just because I feel like I get to enjoy the bouquet a little bit longer.
As you swirl this, you can actually even see like. Do you notice that almost blood red tint that it kind of takes on as it first starts to settle?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right along the line of the where it stops.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Tin Man. I'd say this actually, in all honesty, this might be the best Imperial Stout, Russian Imperial Stout I've had.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
from a brewery. Now I have had some home brews from my buddies at Snafu, and more often than not, I'm going to go for the home brew over the the brewery.
yeah.
But I would say out of a brewery, I think this actually is it's the smoothest, it's the most flavorful.
It's very flavorful.
It does not have the alcohol burn, despite the
Right.
fact that it is 12% ABV. I mean, I like Big Bad Baptist. I don't know what that it's not in a Russian Imperial. It's just an Imperial, I think.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
the distinction. Big Bad Baptist is a good one too, but this is a great Hoosier beer, and this is going to get high marks from
Yeah.
me when I
Really,
put it on Untapped.
really satisfying. Like I said, if you're in the mood for a very rich, complex, warming, flavorful, with an awesome aroma,
Oh
this
yeah,
this is a good beer to pick. Very good beer to pick. So yeah, high marks from me too, man. Seriously. It's 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 not for the faint of heart though. Like
it is not.
if you're just getting into stouts and you're kind of like, yeah, I like stouts, but I don't want them to be too much like cocoa, too
At this
much
point,
like
stick at Guinness.
beans, cocoa beans or coffee beans. Yeah, yeah, because that's just a little more tame, even though this still a very flavorful beer.
Mhm.
This beer is an enormous variety and of flavor. It's pretty
Yeah,
damn
I'd
complicated.
say Tin Man truly did their
Yeah,
homework to find out what an Imperial should be. I mean, to me, this is textbook. This is a Russian Imperial Stout. It really
that's a
is.
good way to word it. Yeah, I would say they hit it out of the park with this one. They really did. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't order stouts too often.
True. But I can see that we're
Good
closing
stuff.
in on time that we have to,
Good night, sweetheart.
uh,
Well, it's no, we don't
and
sing.
we're going to give one more shout out to Jimmy and Guy, our
Yes,
Stout drinking buddies, and one more shout out to Chris in Indiana.
yes,
Thanks for this
Chris.
one, man. Really like this one a lot. Be
Couldn't
sure
have had
to
it without you, man.
If you want to send more Tin Man beers, by all means, Tony and I will be happy to do more Tin Man
You
reviews.
guys
Because
need to have a grocery list. You send me this, and I'll send you that.
if Tony actually liked an Imperial Stout, then I'm sure that other beers from Tin Man are going to be to his liking
Yeah,
as well. So
I'm curious if they have a double IPA. I'd really like to get my hands on that
yeah, I
one. Or
may
an
have to go
Imperial
on their
IPA.
website and write Chris and tell him exactly
Yeah,
what we're looking for. So
Imperial IPA, a double IPA, or just a really, really good. Hell, if they had a wee heavy, I'd like to try that.
indeed,
Um,
we got less than 30 seconds. So we got to sign off. Cheers.
cheers, everybody.
Enjoy good beer.
Enjoy good beer and enjoy your day. And bye.
Bye.